This is the MGTOWinfinium here with another Infinium out and about. This Infinium out and about is entitled Don't Assume Past Assigned Roles. My brothers, I'm out here in the Chesapeake Arboretum, and it is about a few miles away from where I'm presently living at. But my brothers, it always amazes me how there are places where there are just absolute peace in the middle of neighborhoods, thoroughfares, that type of thing. Again, this is the Chesapeake Arboretum, and I have been by this location at least 50 or 60 times since I've been staying in this area, since I've been living here. And I never really noticed it until a few days ago when I was going out to a pharmacy to pick up something for my mother. And I happened to make a wrong turn into this, and I discovered that this was actually here. And again, this is the Chesapeake Arboretum. I can just pan around here, and it's a small location. It's a part of the Chesapeake City Park systems. As you can see, it's very small, very secluded. But my brothers, I never knew that this was here until I discovered it by accident. Again, I had passed by it maybe 50 or 60 times over the years, but I never stopped to look and check this place out and see what was in here. And my brothers, that's what I want to address with you today. The things that would prevent us from finding the new discoveries, the places that we'd never seen, the wonderful things that we now have because of our freed up time as MGTOW men. And my brothers, I would like to talk to you about the roles, the past roles that women, etc., are trying to get us to come back to get us to get back into. And that is the simping, the cucking, the white knighting, doing all types of things. Now, what got me thinking about this was I was watching some content that Joker or Better Bachelor put out yesterday, and he showed a, I would say a 3 or 4, but she was on OnlyFans or something like that. I think that's what it was. But she was out there with her content and saying it's okay for men to kiss on dates, on their first dates. It's okay. And how she was dressed for her content, she had no shirt on. She just had I think some overalls on, which covered up her chest, but her endowment, I would say, was well exposed. And so as she was speaking, she was making it obvious by her hand gestures, which caused her endowment to bounce up and down, that men should kiss women on their first dates. It's safe now to do those things. It's safe to assume that role of taking women out on dates and kissing them and loving them, that type of thing. And my brothers, again, if you look at it on face value, it seems to be minimalistic coming from the standpoint of a woman. But if you look at this, what she's saying, what she is trying to promote, it is highly dangerous. It is highly dangerous to our way of life as MGTOW men and to any men in general. It is highly dangerous. It is the type of thing that could destroy you as a MGTOW man if you resume the role that this 304 wants you to do. And my brothers, it goes beyond those types of things. It actually goes back into what is happening to women, etc., in every possible way. And my brothers, what is going on now is this. Because of the things that women, etc., have done, and that is putting themselves in a place where they have ultimate power over us. It has caused not only a revolt with men in terms of doing their assigned roles, their previously assigned roles, it has caused them to be locked out. And that is across the board, my brothers. So it goes from families to interpersonal relationships with women, etc., work relationships with women, every possible thing, even to the point of when you go out and get your groceries and that woman approaches you and says hello to you and you walk away without saying anything in cold indifference. That's what it has resulted in. And because of the difficulties that women, etc., now find themselves in, they are doing everything to get we men, in particular we MGTOW men, to resume the former roles that we once had. And so that means if you were a cup, or if you were a white knight, a simp, a super simp, or any combination of the aforementioned, my brothers, they want you to resume those prior roles without any understanding of what could happen to you because of the things that are going on. And my brothers, what this 304 wanted we men to do is to basically throw away our rights, throw away our freedom, throw away all these things to take a chance on kissing a woman, a whammon, on a first date, knowing that the laws of the land, knowing that all these things where we men live in a state which hates us in every possible way, knowing that these things can happen, my brothers, she would say these things. Knowing that if a man smiles at a woman innocently out in public, he could be thrown in jail on charges of rape. So, my brothers, it is unconscionable what she was doing. It is not safe. But, my brothers, it really is troubling because this is far more extensive than what that 304 was saying. For instance, you may be in a family situation where, again, you're dealing with female family members. And because of your MGTOW stance, it has caused you to dip out, so to speak, to not play the role of the black sheep to be the scapegoat, to be the one who the family regularly throws under the bus. You have found that it's necessary to separate yourself from these types of things. And even to the extent where you say to your mother that I will no longer do these types of things because of this situation. And you find that as you walk away from these things, your freedom increases, your peace increases, but yet you get these calls from your mother, from your sister, from all the family who was formerly mistreating you and doing the things that they were doing to you, treating you as a black sheep, treating you as the scapegoat, that it is now safe. You can come back. You can come back to the fold, so to speak. But in your mind, you know that that's not the case. You know that it is, in fact, the opposite of that. It is worse than. It is what is going on with your family. It is worse than what you could ever imagine. And you find yourself in a position where you have to make a decision. Do I go back to my role as the black sheep, as the scapegoat, and continue on into a black hole, which I know will ultimately wind up with me being thrown under the bus again, being destroyed financially, all the things that you struggle with? Or do I continue and say, no, I will not deal with that anymore, and I'm sorry, but because of this condition, I can no longer deal with this, and I have to live my life separate from you all. That's what we're faced with, my brothers. And it could be a situation like this, where this thought is saying to come back to the fold. It's safe. It's okay. But my brothers, again, in the years that I have been doing content, and that's going on about 5 years now, it has only gotten worse. We have Western societies like Scotland passing discriminatory laws against men. We have all the types of things that are going on in this country, the USA, where men had to go through paternity fraud situations without any alleviation or any avail to their situations. Women, etc., can put my name as a man on a form, not knowing me, not having any knowledge of me, except for just a brief meeting where they got my name. They can put my name on a form, and I could be liable for a child which is not of my seed. That has not changed, my brothers. It has gotten worse. There are proposals to put laws forth where if a woman is pregnant, men should be liable for that pregnancy. Men should pay child support for that pregnancy. All those things are happening, my brothers. And my brothers, again, when women in your family or women out in the wild, wherever they are, say that it is safe, that it is okay, that is you're good with us, come back, date us, mentor us, kiss us on first dates, my brothers, again, they are asking you to resume your role as a slave, as a prisoner, as someone who is hated. All these types of things, my brothers, that's what they're asking for. They are not asking for you to be treated as dignified men or dignified members of the family. They are not asking for any of those things, they are asking you to resume your role as a slave, as a scapegoat, as a black sheep, as a go-to for blame, as a go-to for everything possible in order for women in particular to not take accountability for their actions. That's what they're asking you to do. That's what the role is that they're asking you to come back. When women in any situation ask you, my brothers, to come back to you, and there is no change to the condition which drove you away from them in the first place, my brothers, it can only wind up being bad for you if you go back to that situation. And my brothers, in fact, it can actually result in a condition where it is worse for you. For instance, you could wind up in a situation where financially you dug yourself out of a hole and then you went back to that role and wound up in a situation where you can never get out of it again, where your freedom is totally gone. That's what you have to consider. And my brothers, I know it is tough because in certain situations you have a mother saying, why can't you do this? When she knows in the back of her mind that the condition that she endorsed in her family caused this to come about. It caused this separation. You can have a condition where an ex calls you and says, how you doing? And can we please work this out? Can we please have a restarting of our relationship? When you know, when she knows, I should say, in the back of her mind, it is her lack of accountability which has caused the condition which drove you away from her. And in both cases, in all these cases, there is no change in terms of the women involved taking accountability for their actions. There is no apology coming from the mother about what happened to you. There is no apology or sincere apology coming from the women who you had that relationship with. There's only the expectancy to resume the role that you once had as a simp or a cuck or a white knight, and to expect that your fate is at the whims of a woman, no matter what they are, your mother, your ex, a female employee that was a co-worker with you, no matter what, that's what they expect. You to be a slave and to be one who is bound and has no hope of freedom, no hope of having peace in his life. And his life is filled with turmoil, with cray-cray, with running around and trying to satisfy what cannot be satisfied. That's what it's about. That's what they're asking you to resume. And so, my brothers, it is not safe. And again, I do not say these things as mere easy things to do. It is not easy. Nevertheless, you must weigh the consequences of your actions. Do I do the hard thing and stay away and keep on to my freedom? Or do I do the thing that I'm begged to do? And that is to lose my freedom at all costs without any regard to my dignity, to my self-worth, to who I am as a man. My brothers, again, you have the right to be free, to have your dignity, to have your peace, to not be entangled in entanglements. You have the right to say no to these things, to say no even to family members, to say no to exes who call you up or send you that hey big head text. You have the right. And my brothers, even if they curse you, which they will, even if they say that you're mean and selfish, how could you do that to your mother? How could you look at it this way? How could they do that to you? And in that case, if you have that question in your mind, look at that. Analyze that with your critical thought processes. If you have been that good son who is treated as a scapegoat, if you have been that good husband who is treated as a bastard, if you've been that good person, that man who has gotten out and did what he needed to do, but yet you find yourself in a situation where you are separated from the stuff that has gone on previously in your life, and you're being accused of how mean you are, how selfish, how could you do that? Look at it this way. How could they do that to you? How could they do that to you, my brothers? What manner of mind would do that, would do cruel things to men like that? Think of it that way. Again, you have the right to your dignity. You have the right not to be abused. You have the right to live in freedom and in peace. You have a right not to be a scapegoat. All these types of things. That's what the importance of the MGTOW philosophy brings to you, my brothers. And that's what I want you to understand and to not forget. Because this is what they want to do to you, my brothers, is to bring you back into a lifestyle, into a role, which can only lead to your destruction. And my brothers, to be frank about it, you do not deserve it. You do not deserve that. You deserve the right to be free from these things, from the things that are going on within the feminist plantation state, all these things, the things in your family, all of these things. You have the right to be free from these things. And you have the right to live your life in freedom and in peace. This is the MGTOWinfinium, and this has been an Infinium out and about. My MGTOW brothers, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.